Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining our very first webinar session on migrating your games from OpenFeint to GREE. My name is Aaron, and as you may have seen from the newsletter that you received, I am your new developer community DevCom Ninja. You can contact me at any time using the email address us-devcomninja@gree.net. And you can also communicate with me and with all of your fellow developers on our forums at forum.developer.gree.net. I'm really excited to be able to share with you some of my knowledge and experience with GREE Platform and give you a chance to ask some of your initial questions to us directly. So what I'm going to do today is walk you through some sample code that you have provided inside of the SDKs, both OpenFeint and GREE Platform already. I'll be giving you a brief introduction to the GREE Platform, and then following that, I'll walk you through the OpenFeint sample application that you're already familiar with. After that, we'll walk through integrating GREE Platform into your application, as well as looking at some specific functions. In particular, we'll be looking at achievements, leaderboards, and invite service. Once we've completed this piece, I will actually walk you through how these functions are handled in the GREE Platform sample application that, as I mentioned, is actually provided as part of the SDK. I will be mentioning some specific documents and reference information, and we'll list that out at the end of this presentation as well, and let you know where you can actually find this information to obtain on your own. So, as I said, before we actually dig into OpenFeint and how you can accomplish these functions under GREE Platform, I just wanted to give you a brief overview and introduce you to the new GREE Platform. With GREE Platform 3.0, we're offering you a new and innovative feature set with a suite of robust APIs. We're giving you a sleeker UX and UI, as well as a lighter SDK. The GREE Platform SDK is a single global SDK for you to distribute your applications worldwide. It is cross-platform with full feature parity between iOS and Android, as well as Unity for iOS out of the box. We offer you a series of viral features as well as a full set of casual APIs to add value to your applications. The structure of the webinar that we'll be going through, just so you're aware how we'll be doing things, is I'll first examine the OpenFeint side of things, followed by an examination of how you perform the same or equivalent functions on GREE Platform. We'll start out by quickly examining the OpenFeint sample application. So let me just jump out of the presentation here. And what we have here is, as I said, the OpenFeint sample application. This is the one that you OpenFeint developers are already familiar with and have grown up with. We'll just quickly look at the three specific functions. We can see leaderboards, full list of leaderboards, the ability to set high scores, achievements, same deal, list of achievements, ability to lock and unlock, and then the ability to send invitations. So now that we've looked at just the very basic pieces that we'll be going through, I'd like to take a look at the server side of things and how you set up your initial applications from, again, both OpenFeint and GREE Platform. On the OpenFeint side of things, what we're looking at here is the developer dashboard. And this is where you would go in and create your applications, configure your features, leaderboards, achievements, etc. This is also where you would find the necessary integration information such as the product key and product secret. I'm going to trust everybody on the line here not to steal my very super secret test application information here. So now that we see what this looked like on OpenFeint, let's take a look at the GREE Platform side. So what we have here is the GREE Developer Center. And one thing that I do want to point out here is instead of a single location for configuring your applications, you will actually see that you have both applications and sandbox. So what this means to you is the sandbox is a limited testing environment that gives you a full control over the actual social graph of players that you control for testing out your application. Test accounts that you create through Sandbox are unique to your account and are not shared across games from other developers. This also allows you to specifically create the friend linkages between players that are test accounts. The Applications tab, this is the production environment giving you access to the GREE social network of players and the full GREE social network system. For OpenFeint developers, you will actually see inside the applications, your OpenFeint applications are available here, and you will have the option, if we look at the details, of migrating this information from OpenFeint to GREE Platform. Some of the specific information that will be migrated is all of your achievements with their icons will be migrated. Leaderboards, when you migrate them, the top 1,000 scores will be migrated per leaderboard. When you migrate things with leaderboards, this will enable a double write, meaning scores that are posted from older versions of your application still running OpenFeint, those high scores will be written both to the OpenFeint side and to GREE Platform. So now that we've walked through the Dev Dashboard and Developer Center, let's go ahead and take a quick look at Xcode and see what this looks like on the OpenFeint side for integrating your application. So what you can see here is the OpenFeint sample application app delegate. Excuse me. As part of the application initialization, you have the full dictionary of settings along with all of the information with your product key, your product secret. For integrating the application, of course, you've already included the OpenFeint framework as well as the resource bundle. So now I'm going to flip over to the GREE Platform side so that we see how we do the same type of thing under GREE Platform. So what you can see here is, again, the app delegate for the GREE Platform Showcase application. Whereas previously with OpenFeint, excuse me, it was a drag and drop of the OpenFeint.framework folder, which included the library and some header files. Under GREE Platform, there are two specific framework libraries that you will need to include, the libgreeplatform.a and the libgreewallet.a. The libgree wallet specifically deals with, as you might have guessed, payment information. And we won't really get into that information in detail here, but please take time to look at the GREE Developer Center for further information on payments. So I do want to call out a couple of specific initialization settings that are part of the dictionary settings that you passed into GREE Platform. The first is the GREE setting development mode. This ties into what I mentioned previously for sandbox versus production. And as you can see here, you basically have two options here. You can set it to GREE development mode sandbox if your game is configured through sandbox for testing, or GREE development mode production. The GREE setting use wallet. Very straightforward. If your game uses in-app purchases, you will need to enable the wallet. A new option that you will not be familiar with is the GREE setting enable grade 0. What this means is under GREE Platform, various players have grades associated with them. A grade 0 player is somebody that does not actually sign up for a user ID with GREE Platform, meaning if you enable grade 0, you will allow players to play your game without necessarily having to register fully for a GREE user ID. Okay. So now that we've taken a look at some of the basic differences for moving from OpenFeint to GREE Platform at a basic integration level, let's go ahead and take a look at our first specific feature, and that is achievements. So we're going to go back, as I mentioned, and we'll look at the OpenFeint developer dashboard. And if we take a look at features, you can see this is where you will have configured your various achievements with icons, achievement points, and the unique identifier that the server has provided to you. If we jump over to the GREE Developer Center, we can look at, excuse me, just one moment. We can look at the details of our application and find our achievements here as well. And again, very similar information to what we had under OpenFeint. You have your achievement name, number of achievement points, and icons. One important piece to note is while when you migrate information from OpenFeint to GREE Platform, it will include the icons. The icon dimensions are slightly different under GREE Platform. So you'll get a minor bit of upscaling. The GREE Platform icons are 60 by 60 pixels versus 50 by 50 on the OpenFeint side. So now that we've looked at the server side of these components, let's go ahead and take a look at the code and see how you actually deal with these from a code perspective. So we flip back over to the OpenFeint sample application now, and let's take a look at the achievement controller. And what I want to point out here specifically, looking at the header file, is this OF achievement delegate protocol. This is something that is very common to most of the features within OpenFeint. We utilize a delegate system to handle callbacks for client-server interactions. I point this out simply because this is something that will be a little bit different when we jump over to the GREE Platform side. So taking a look at the implementation file, what you can see here is the OF achievement that we have, the OF achievement object, excuse me, we are calling it update progression complete with a value that we've passed in from the sample application, 1 to 100, pure percentage based. OpenFeint developers are probably familiar with another method call for unlock, And that's just a shortcut for calling this function with a value of 100. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like under GREE Platform. So we'll go ahead and flip over here to the GREE Platform sample application. And looking at the header, as I mentioned previously, no delegate. So we're going to be handling that side of things a little bit differently. So looking at our implementation file, once you have the achievement object, you are using a single unlock method. There is no longer any concept of a percentage completion for achievements. And what I really want to point out here is rather than using a delegate system for callbacks, instead what we're going to be using is a relatively new feature that iOS has given us, and that is block code. I'm not going to dig into a lot of detail on what block code is, but I definitely recommend checking out Apple's documentation. And they have a really great document entitled A Short Practical Guide to Blocks. And we'll be providing some URLs to these documents in a follow-up email once we're done with the presentation. So definitely take a few minutes to take a look at that information. This really wraps up the achievement section. So I'd like to go ahead and move on and take a look at the leaderboards. So we'll go ahead, we'll flip back over to the OpenFeint developer dashboard. And we'll go ahead and take a look at leaderboards. Again, here you can see our list of leaderboards with their unique identifier. When, as I mentioned previously, when you do migrate your information from OpenFeint to GREE Platform, the top 1,000 scores per leaderboard will be migrated over. So let's go ahead and look at what this looks like on the GREE Platform side. And as you can see, I don't actually have a leaderboard configured on this application, so we'll just quickly add a new leaderboard here. So there are a couple of really interesting pieces on leaderboards under GREE Platform. First is a new option for actually adding a custom thumbnail for leaderboards. The icon size for this thumbnail image is the same dimensions as the achievement icons, and that is 60 by 60. We also offer two options for the format of your scores, either a straight numerical value or a built-in support for time-based leaderboard scores as well. This is very exciting because there are many timing-based games, racing, etc., where a time-based value for a leaderboard score could be very useful. So now that we've looked at the server side for leaderboards, let's go ahead and take a look at the code. So we'll flip over again to the OpenFeint sample application so that we can see what this looks like here. Okay, so if we take a look at our leaderboard controller, again, same delegate system, not going to dig into more detail here. For actually handling submitting a high score to leaderboards, we consist of constructing a score object and then using its submit to method and providing it with a leaderboard object. So we'll go ahead and jump over to the GREE Platform side to take a look at how this is handled under the new system. So if we take a look at our score view controller, you can see things look pretty similar. You are constructing a new GREE score object, which includes both the numeric score and actually has the leaderboard built in as a property of the score object, so that when you call its submit method, you don't provide a separate leaderboard ID or leaderboard object. It knows internally which leaderboard it should be associated with. So this is really the end of leaderboards. So let's go ahead and take a look at our third and final specific object, third and specific function, and that is the invitation system. Now this is actually a very interesting feature. Invites are a great tool for increasing viral installations of your games by allowing your players to send invites to other friends that are on their GREE social network that don't yet have your game installed. Previously on OpenFeint, invites were only available under iOS. On GREE Platform, invites, like all of the other features, are fully available to both iOS and Android, as well as Unity for iOS. So we'll go ahead and flip back over just briefly to look at the OpenFeint developer dashboard, where we can see that previously invitations were configured server-side so that the client would pull down that information to submit that invitation to the various players from your friends list. Under GREE Platform, all of this information is actually constructed procedurally within the code. So there is no server-side equivalent. So we're just going to flip straight over the GREE Developer Center for this and jump straight into the OpenFeint code. So if we take a look at the invite controller, this one looks a little more intimidating than the previous controllers that we've seen, because we're implementing a number of different delegates here. Those of you that have used the invite system under OpenFeint are probably aware that this is a little more intimidating than it really is. The majority of the grunt work for invites are actually handled by the provided UI that's built into the SDK. So what you are doing here, looking at the implementation, is you are constructing the actual invite object and then simply invoking its display and send invite screen. And what this does is it tells the platform itself, go ahead and show the pop-up and handle all of that back-end work for allowing the user to select their friends and send the invite out to that list of selected friends. So we'll go ahead and flip over to the GREE Platform side at this point and take a look at the same kind of thing. And as I mentioned, very similar, the majority of the work on the GREE Platform site is also handled by the SDK itself. Whereas previously we were pulling down the information for the messages from the server, instead we are actually creating all of that information procedurally. And this is actually a really good place to look at a number of block code segments. Again, take a look at Apple's documentation on how to use that, but this is a really great place that you see it being exercised. One other component that I actually want to point out here is we do provide an extension to Apple's built-in UI view controller with our UI view controller plus GREE Platform header. And what this does is it adds in a number of new functionality. I suggest taking a look at the header file as well as the documents that are included with the SDK so that you can familiarize yourself with the additional features it provides. But in the context of invitations, what this does is it provides us with one easy method for providing pop-ups, such as the invite pop-up, so that we can just call into the navigation controller and tell it to show that invite pop-up for selecting the various players and sending that invite out to your friends. So this concludes the walkthrough of comparison of features from GREE Platform and OpenFeint. And what I'd like to do now is go ahead and flip over to the GREE Platform sample application so that you can get some idea of how things look and how your users will be experiencing the new platform. Okay, so what we're looking at here, as I said, is the GREE Platform sample application. And you'll notice there are a number of features here that we haven't really talked about. There are some new things that we have added with GREE Platform, specifically the request and sharing APIs are great ways of improving player retention and player acquisition as well. Requests, again, this is kind of the flip side to invites. Invites allows you to send messages to acquire new players that don't have your game. Requests are a way of retaining those users by sending out a request for continued play on a daily or regular basis from your existing player base. Sharing is a great way for allowing your players to brag about accomplishments and achievements that they have had in your game, and includes a built-in method for sharing screenshots of something that they've accomplished in your game as well. Let's go ahead and take a look specifically at some of the items that we've covered earlier, and that will be achievements. You can see our list of achievements with an ability to lock or unlock our achievements. Leaderboards, you can see our list of leaderboards with the ability to post a new high score to the leaderboard. And fantastic, we have a new score. And finally, what we have is the invite system. Here is the information that we have created procedurally with the invitation message. And if we show the invite pop-up, we can see that the application is going to misbehave because we're in a live demonstration. Welcome to the live demonstration world, folks. So we'll jump right back in here. And as you can see, I have one friend that does not have the game yet, so I'll go ahead. It default chooses everybody that does not have the game installed on your friends list, and I'll go ahead and send the invite to my one friend. So this really wraps up the presentation portion of our webinar. And at this point, I'd like to take a few minutes to answer some of the questions that you've submitted to our moderator. And if you give me just one moment, I'll speak to our moderator. Okay, great. So our first question that we've received is, will GREE Platform be compatible with OFX? OFX is not compatible with the GREE Platform. Currently, there is no virtual inventory management solution in GREE. However, this feature is on the roadmap. If you currently use OFX and you're looking to migrate to GREE, please go ahead and email me at us-devcomninja@gree.net, and we can definitely go through your options together. Our second question is, how do I migrate my leaderboards and achievements, and what information is migrated? This is a great question. Achievements are actually already migrated. You get all of your icons, as I mentioned previously, as well as their previously configured achievement points. Leaderboards, on the other hand, are migrated on demand by clicking the Migrate button beside each leaderboard. As I mentioned, the top 1,000 scores will be migrated, and it will enable a double write, meaning scores that are posted from OpenFeint will be written both to OpenFeint and GREE Platform. Okay. All right. Our next question is, are there REST APIs? And what this is referring to is server-side RESTful APIs to get read access to information from the platform. The short answer here is yes, we do have RESTful APIs. I don't have full information in front of me on these APIs, but most of these are documented on the GREE Developer Center. Please go ahead and take a look at the API service reference documents there to get some more information on how what those APIs are and how they work. Okay. All right, so we've just got a couple other questions lined up here for you. All right, excellent. The first one is, OpenFeint was a free SDK. Will GREE Platform be free as well? Yes, absolutely. Just like OpenFeint, the GREE SDK features free for use, and similar to OpenFeint charging revenue share when you were using the OFX solution, if you're using in-app purchases with GREE Platform, we will also be handling revenue share for hard currency use. There is some more information available on the GREE Developer Center on the specific details of that revenue share and how you can use that. Okay. All right, our next question is, will the GREE SDK support challenges? Good eye there. We did not actually see that in our sample application, now did we? So the answer here is yes and no. There is no specific API for challenges. However, the request API can be used to accomplish a similar feature. There is an FAQ page linked on the GREE Developer Center, and one of these questions actually answers that specific question with details on how you can use the request API to accomplish the feature of challenges. Okay. And our next question is, what information from my players will be migrated? This is a great question. Player information, including their login data, their email address, and username will be migrated along with their friends list and number of achievement points that they have acquired through OpenFeint. Okay. Looks like we're still getting a few more questions in here. Give me just one moment. All right. So our next question, will GREE Platform have real-time multiplayer support? The short answer to this is no, not at this time, but it is definitely on the roadmap. So take a look out for future newsletters as well as information on the Developer Center for when this might be available. Excuse me. Okay, give me just one more moment. We're just digging through our questions here. I'll be back with you in just 1 second. Okay, we are actually getting one more question asking about when will Unity for Android be available? Currently, Unity support is only available for iOS. We are expecting the Unity Android SDK to be available soon. It is currently slated for an end of Q2 release. So keep an eye out for that. We're definitely planning on having full support on Unity, both Android and iOS for you. Okay. Our next question is GREE Platform Game Center compatible? And yes, absolutely. Similar to OpenFeint, where you had to provide a mapping between your Game Center identifiers for achievements and leaderboards and your OpenFeint identifiers for achievements and leaderboards, you'll do the same thing under GREE Platform. This is actually accomplished when you initially configure the settings for the platform. You will provide a dictionary, an NS dictionary of settings that have that mapping of GREE Platform identifiers for achievement and leaderboards and the Game Center identifiers for achievements and leaderboards. Okay, another great question coming in here. What does the migration look like for users? And the answer here is it's a two-click process. When an identified OpenFeint player first logs into a GREE-enabled application, the first click will be the icon that says, "Let's go with GREE," and the second click will be to choose their OpenFeint account that will have already identified on their device. Okay, and it looks like that is the end of our questions here. So, as I mentioned, we've talked about a number of different resources. Many of these are available on the GREE Developer Center, including the OpenFeint to GREE Platform Migration Guide, which covers a lot of this information that we've discussed in the webinar, as well as some other really great guides and documents. The GREE Platform Overview and GREE Platform Developer Guide, I highly recommend taking a look at, as well as the API Service Reference, where you will find information about things like the share and request services. You will also find more information about user grades, since I know this is a new concept from our OpenFeint developers, also on the GREE Developer Center. Okay. We will also be posting links to all of these resources as well as a video recording of this webinar on the forum. So please take a look at the forum, and we'll also be including this in a follow-up email once we're done here. Thank you, everybody, very much for attending, and I really appreciate all of your time. We look forward to being able to do this for you again in the future.